Hey yogis, today we've got a nice general full body yoga flow class. We'll start off grounded and quickly pick up the pace. So if you're ready for a nice yoga workout, you might like to start off with a block. And we're gonna sit back on the heels. So sometimes this shape can be a little too much at the knee. So if that's the case, a block right underneath your hips or a pillow, just something to support, and let the hands rest down on your thighs. Sit up as tall as you can, take a couple of full breaths in, fill the lungs up, and then let it go. Another one like that, nice and purposeful. Inhale. Let it go. And then just focus on your breath. Follow it as it fills up your lungs, and then as it escapes out of your nose. Let everything else in your day go. And just notice what you're feeling in this present moment. Going even further with the breath, we're going to add on. So find your eagle bind. Arms are going to go out wide. Bring them into touch. And you've got your right elbow underneath the left one. Send the arms away from you. Spread the fingers, point them high. Lift up and away. You can definitely do this if you're not even on a block. And on the exhale, let's curl in. So bring the chin to the chest. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, curl in. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Breath in. Exhale. Now come to center. You're going to lift off of your block. So if you were crisscross, just come onto your knees. Set the knees so they're about hips width distance. Continue to press the arms forward. The hips are forward. Now we're just going to lift up and back for a very early small camel. Look at the arms so that the head is not flung back. Back to center, press the arms nice and wide, release the shoulders. And now let's just slide that right foot off the side of the mat. Thumbs are dialed up, glide out over that straight leg. Right hand falls inside the leg as the left arm reaches up and then across. So you've got your grounded triangle pose with the hips pressing forward, left shoulder blade pressing back just a bit so the gaze can go under your arm. And now we'll take a big windmill. So that left hand is going to fall all the way off the side of the mat as the right arm reaches straight up. Feel that stretch for the right side. And you can play with balance by going further into that left hand and floating your right foot. And that right foot is active as if you're pressing on a wall. Lower that right foot down. Right hand is going to come to the top of the mat. So your hands are now facing forward. And you can just take that block and send it away. Right foot steps all the way back. Left foot is going to meet it and you've got your plank pose. Just check in that the head isn't drooping down. You want to be looking straight down, but almost pressing the back of the head to the ceiling. Take a little bit of a rock forward as far as you can on the tippy toes. Then press those heels straight back. And let's find our first down dog. Hips go high. Take a half step in to shorten up the stance and bend the knees, nice and soft knees. Spread the fingers nice and wide. And now one heel at a time is going to drop down to the mat. So on an inhale, you've got both heels lifted. And on the exhale, one heel drops down. Take a few rounds with your breath. And then you'll pause with lifted heels, press your stomach back towards the thighs, look forward, and then walk. Feet are coming to the top of the mat, those toes are touching, space at the heels. Flip the palms, knees are still soft, drop the chin for a fold. Now we're coming up through standing. Lead with your heart, reach the arms, palms to touch overhead. And exhale, everything comes down at heart center. Let's take a big sweep up again. Inhale. And all the way down to the mat. Exhale. Revisit your high plank pose. Now we're going to glide forward just like you did onto the tippy toes, but then lower your knees down. As you bend your elbows, squeeze them, see if they could touch the rib cage. Crown of the head still extending forward. And then extend the arms. Heart reaches forward for your upward facing dog. And then let's exhale your hips into the air for your downward facing dog. This one you can move around freely again. Letting the legs warm up. Let the chin rock side to side. And then settle. Lift the heels high, bend the knees deeply, look forward. It's your opposite foot now that leads you to step forward, top of mat. And on the exhale, chin falls into a fold. All the way up to standing once again. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, close off that circle. Samasthiti, hands at heart. Let's take one more Sun A. Breath in, reaches high. Breath out takes you all the way down. Alternating the foot, find your high plank pose. Now we're gliding out. You can definitely lower the knees down again, but if you want to keep them lifted, you're still bending the elbows and they come into the ribs. Untuck the toes so you've got your upward facing dog. And send those hips high, down dog. Let's send your right leg in the air, three-legged dog. Now imagine, again, you're stepping on a wall, so that leg is super straight. The ankle is nice and flexed. The left heel might be trying to fall closer to the mat. Now lift that left heel, make some space, look forward, and the right foot steps just inside your right thumb. Now if you don't have blocks, just know that you might not get as much extension in that front leg, and that's fine. We're gonna work some pyramid pose. If you've got blocks, I suggest the tallest setting, and you just bring them right underneath your shoulders. Front knee is now going to work straighter, so you've got your pyramid pose. Now the back heel stays floating, your heart is extended forward. And we're gonna move with the breath. So an inhale, bend that left knee just to a hover, chest is forward. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, look at that big toe. Again, bend the knees, look forward, and extend. Good, keep going, bend, and straighten, and bend, extend. Now that back leg is going to stay as it is. Bend just your front knee. You might even be able to wiggle the feet, one forward, one back, so you have a nice long stance. Get lighter on the blocks and reach up to your high lunge. That left hip, keep it pressing forward. Now left hand faces the ceiling. Take a hold of that wrist, reach up, and on an exhale, a lean over to the right. Challenge that front knee to bend a little deeper. Back to center, arms separate, straighten that front leg. And let's take a high twist over to the right. The right arm can reach straight back. The left one takes a little lean back as well. Back to center. Rebend that front knee. Drop your back heel so you're in your warrior two. Hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Your gaze is forward. Front palm flips up so you can take that half windmill back and reverse your warrior two. And back to center. Hands to hips for a moment, straighten your front leg, heel toe the back foot in a step, and then we're gonna shorten the stance. So the right foot likely goes wider, and that back foot is about a leg's distance. Hips are squared forward, arms go wide. Let's take a hold of the elbows behind you. A breath in to lift up. On an exhale, fold out, but fold over that right leg. So there might be the tiniest of little turns, and you're gazing at that big toe. The shoulders want to get heavy. Roll them back, strong upper back. Press into that front foot to lift you back up. Let the arms go wide, and then step everything together at the top of your mat. Bend into the knees and extend your arms for your Utkatasana chair pose. We're going to take some dynamic work here. So this is going to be your tall inhale, your tall chair pose. Now on the exhale, let's take it lower, hands to heart, and twist to the left. Inhale, tall chair pose. And exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. Let's take it over the left and hold. So check that right knee. If it's creeping forward, the hips are actually coming out of alignment and you lose some of your twist. So keep the knees in line with the hips and twist from your core. With your next exhale, let's take it down into your fold. Give a little shake, release the head. And then step back, find your high plank. Set it up, glide out. Choose how you're going to travel, knees up or down. Low plank. Extend your spine, up dog. And exhale your hips high, downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the mat. Get your tabletop. Send your right leg in the air. You can work here with both hands grounded or the left arm reaches out in front of you. We're going to take 3 parts to this next movement. So the exhale, curl under, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Now this time the exhale, let's go up and over so that left hand tries to tap your heel. And then inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Up and over. Inhale. Another round. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale over and pause. So if you have a hold of that heel or the foot, press your hand higher. And if not, you're just reaching that arm back and pressing the foot to the ceiling. Let it all go long. Drop the hand, drop the toes at the back of the mat. Hug your left knee into your chest and then send your left leg in the air. You've got that 3-legged dog. And on this side, let the knee bend and drop that right hip so the left one can open up. Circling out your ankle, the knee. And then look forward, take that big step. Left foot is now to the top of the mat. Get lighter on the fingertips, and we rise up. Inhale, high lunge. This time, basket hands behind the head. Press the head back into the hands. Keep that lunge, but now lift up and away. You should feel this nice length down the right side. And center, the arms extend. Quick warrior two, just as a transition, open out to the side. Hands to hips, straighten that front knee, and let the left toes dial in. So you're setting up for your wide-legged forward fold. Take a lift of your chest, inhale. And on the exhale, let's come down. Hands can definitely find your blocks here to bring the floor closer to you. And make sure there's even weight distributed between the toes and the heels. And then if there's more to go, the blocks or the hands can walk straight underneath you and you let your head go. Walk out to your straight arms under shoulders. Without moving the feet, walk the hands towards that left foot. And the right hand is reaching as far away as it can. Let's keep walking around so that you're in this runner's lunge and that left knee is bending. We're going to drop the right knee down and the hands are coming inside your left foot, so it's your lizard lunge. Now again, you can always do this on your blocks. We're going to take it into the hip. Left toes angle off the side of the mat so you can feel that left hip open up. You're going to take your hands over to the right. And this might be enough of a twist, enough of a stretch for you, but you could go lower where that right elbow comes down to something or all the way down to the floor. And then the left arm is now walking away. So you're now getting into your left side. And then walk your way back to center. Send those left toes to reface forward. Back toes tuck under, lift your knee, and let's step left foot back to meet right. And you've got your high plank pose. The heels are going to drop over to the right, and your left hand is getting lighter. So you could lower that right knee down if you need support, and that left hand will float higher for your side plank. See if you can press the hips any higher to the ceiling. And then look down plank. Let's go straight to your down dog and a big step in. So a very short downward facing dog. Now take that right hand and sweep across somewhere along that left leg and take a peek under your left arm. Return those hands out and now walk them all the way backwards to the feet. So the feet should be about hips distance. Let's take your two first fingers and loop your big toes. Extended arms, pull your heart forward, and then drop your chin into a fold. So you're working straighter legs here over time without changing the shape of your spine. So if you feel any kind of rounding happening, especially at the mid to low back, I would just have a little bend at the knees so you can keep that spine nice and long. And look forward, hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. And you're at the back of the mat in your Namaste, everything to touch. Some balances. Let's hug your right knee in. We're coming into your tree pose. So that knee swings out to the side. The foot goes above or below the knee. It could also have a little kickstand on the mat. And your hands press together. We're not going to add much onto this tree, but you can reach the arms up if you'd like. Nice spread fingers, sending the energy towards the ceiling. Hands at heart, right leg sends out, give it a quick spin. Now step about halfway. Bend the knees. We're coming into your figure 4. So it's now that left ankle rested on top and that left knee is just falling open. Staying high is perfectly fine. Otherwise, you drop the seat for a lower chair. Let's take it up again. Left leg out, give it a spin. And now step that foot near the top of the mat. Bend the knees again. This right leg is coming around for your eagle pose. So you're going to cross the thighs completely, trying to get the knees one on top of the other. And you can have the toes on the mat for support. Elbows wide. Bring them in. And it's that right one dipping under once again. This time for your full Garudasana. Let's take this eagle lower. So drop the hips, lean out, send those fingers forward. Get as small as you can. Then unwind the arms and find your blocks, or of course you can always be down on the mat, and send that right leg back in the air. So we're finding your warrior 3. You might need a maneuver so that you feel nice and stacked. And on this next exhale, tap the right knee behind your left calf. So it's almost like your eagle pose. And an inhale to extend. Exhale again to tap. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to the supported warrior 3, and you could work on balance here by getting lighter on the blocks and placing hands at heart. Hands back down, step this right foot back so you can lower that right knee. So we're just transitioning into your horse pose. The right shin faces the left, left toes to the left, and your hands rise up to your hips. This time a simple basket behind the head. Again, press the head back. Hips are forward, really feel that momentum forward, but then you lift up and away. And back to center. Arms go wide, hands come down. So here's the transition. That right shin comes as far forward as you can get it, and you're gonna help yourself all the way down to sit. Left foot more or less in front of your right knee. Now, if this isn't comfortable and that left hip is really hiked up, you can straighten that bottom leg. Let's take your twist. Left hand back, right arm up. Wrap around and take your twist to the left. Now let your right hand slide all the way down to find the outer edge of that left foot. And all you're gonna do is pick it up and bring it more so it's coming out from that left hip. And you can stay in your twist. Some of you might be able to extend that left knee so it's a slightly straighter leg. Adding balance would be floating that left arm, so we're almost in a boat pose. And the very last piece would be floating that right leg if it's straight, or unbinding and then straightening. So you've got your split leg twisted boat pose for another deep breath. And then land that right leg, let go of the bind, just turn to face forward and give a couple of shakes. Awesome, let's come through a vinyasa. Cross ankles, roll shins, land the hands, and step, step, high plank. Glide out, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale to your upward face. Exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Drop the knees down to the mat. Again, if you used a block or a prop under the hips, you take that again. Tops of the feet are down. Again, you could always be cross-legged. Legs are in to touch. So take that opposite hand you had on top to create that little bowl with the two thumbs to touch, rested in your lap. Close the eyes. Take a couple of rolls of the shoulders. Come back to that steady breath we found at the very beginning. And then we'll set up for that eagle arm on the other side. So the eyes can open, the elbows bend. Bring those elbows to touch. Left goes under for the full wrap. You could also just keep the forearms pressing. Inhale again, lifts you up and away. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last round. Exhale. Inhale to a neutral spine. Keep your bind. You're going to come onto your knees, setting the knees to about hips distance. You can even still squeeze the block with the ankles if you have that. Hips are forward, arms are lifting up and away. Chin is slightly tucked or gazing right at the arms. And center to release the arms. All right, hands at the hips. We're just sliding that left leg off the side of the mat. Left hand falls in the leg, right arm is up. And on your exhale, you lean into that left leg. Now here comes the big windmill where the right hand falls off the side of the mat and the left arm is straight up. If you lean further into that right hand, the left leg can float as a counterbalance, but don't let that leg be floppy. Press it nice and straight. Drop the foot, look towards the top of the mat and walk the hands forward. So you can kind of just kick that block out of the way. Left foot steps back, right is going to follow it, and you've got your high plank pose. Glide out as far as you can and bend elbows. Extend arms, press the legs down and hips high. Left leg rises in the air. Super straight leg, super strong ankle. The challenge is to keep the toes facing down and to keep that right leg as straight as you can get it as well. Then you lift both heels and step that left foot through. So you can have both of those blocks out in front of you again, getting taller so that you can then extend your left knee. And just a pause here. In this pyramid pose, the feet can usually go really far apart. You can take up a lot of your mat. Press down, heart is forward. And then an inhale to bend the knees, lift your head. And an exhale to extend and look down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And bend. Inhale, lengthen. Now just the left knee bends. Challenge yourself to keep the bottom exactly as it is. Then you just lift the top half up into your high lunge. Now you take a hold of that right wrist, lift it up, and now dive to the left. Right hip keeps pressing forward. That's where you get more into that hip flexor. Back to center, arms extended, front knee extended, so you can take your twist left. Once you've got the balance, that left arm can reach straight back, and the right arm takes a little dip back as well. And forward, so you can bend your front knee, drop the back heel into your warrior two. But now let's reverse it. Flip that front palm to take a sweep back. Back to center, hands to hips, straighten that front leg. Now back foot in a step and then face those toes forward. So you're setting up that Parsvottanasana. Each foot in its own lane of traffic. Let the arms go wide. Now take a hold of the elbows, and that's likely the arm that's always on top. Just take a little swap. Breath in, lift. So again, as you exhale out, you just turn a little bit over to the left and look straight down. Don't let those shoulders fall in. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeeze the elbows together. Breath in presses you up. Arms go wide and step through. Connect. Bend the knees for your chair pose. So again, this is your inhale, your tall chair. Let's exhale, low chair to the right. Strong legs, let's keep going. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. One more full round. Breath in. Exhale. Reach up. And to the right where we hold. And again, if that left knee is creeping forward, you actually lose out on some of your twist. So keep both knees even. Exhale, take your fold down, a little pedal out. If the blocks are there, you can send them forward. Step, step, high plank pose. Set it up nice and strong and exhale into your low plank. Breath in, up. Hips high, down dog. Drop the knees to the mat. Let's set up your three-legged tabletop, this time left leg back. And you can stay with both hands grounded and just move the leg, or right arm is out. Let's start with the exhale, crunch under. Inhale, extend. Now it's the big reach. Go back for the heel. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Up and over. Inhale. Last round. Inhale. And reach, pause. So if you don't have the foot, you're just pressing the foot high and reaching back. If you do have the foot, it's not being pulled towards you, it's going up. Then let it go, hand down, toes at the back of the mat. Hug that right knee high, send it in the air, three-legged dog. This time, let's stack the hip, bend that right knee, take some movement. Exploring this hip, this ankle. And then a big sweeping step through, right foot all the way towards the top of the mat. Get lighter on the fingertips, and let's come on up, high lunge. Basket hands, opposite thumb is on top. Lunge, and then lift away. Back bend, extending the spine, hips are forward. And then back to your high lunge. A quick warrior two, hands to hips, straighten that front knee, and send your right toes to face inward. So we're setting up for your wide-legged forward fold. This time, arms wide. And they take that lace of the fingers at the low back. Lift your heart. Come to about halfway. So again, don't sink all the way back into the heels. The toes should be working. See if you can reach the crown of the head forward and the knuckles straight back. And then it's just a bit of a change of shape. So now the crown of the head goes a little lower as the fingertips rise. Crown of the head a little lower, fingers a little higher. And you're folding right at the hip crease. Pausing in your shape for a few breaths. Come up halfway so that you can release the hands all the way back down and take a walk just over towards that right foot. Continue walking all the way around into that lower lunge. Drop the left knee. And let's bring that right hand inside. So you've actually got your lizard lunge, a little bit more open for that right hip. Let the right toes fan open as you take your hands over to the left. You can stay tall here, or a block for that left elbow, and a nice long reach for the right one. Eventually making your way back to hands under shoulders and the right toes facing in. Tuck the left toes to lift the knee, and a step back to your high plank. Let's go into your side plank. The heels spin left. You can lower the left knee as the right arm reaches up for your Vashisthasana. Hips as high to the ceiling as you can get them. Take it back down. Shorten your dog. So hips are high, feet take that step in, and now it's your left hand reaching across for somewhere along your right leg. Return to that shortened dog just to walk your hands back to the feet. Take the hips and an inhale up to stand. And you can reconnect. Find yourself at the back of your mat. Balances to come forward. Let's start with tree pose, Verkasana. Take that left knee in, open that hip. Foot is somewhere along the inseam, above, below, or kickstand. Once you feel steady, arms can sweep up. And if you feel like you're swaying in the wind, that's totally fine. It's just the muscles getting used to this balancing pose. Hands to center, leg goes out, give it a spin, step halfway. Bend the knees, take that right ankle across now, so different opening for the hip. Figure 4. Dropping the hips if you're taking it lower. Right back up. Give that kick out. And drop that foot near the top of the mat. So again, soften the knees. Let's set up for that eagle pose. The left leg is taking a high wrap. Keep that foot floating or drop it down. Add the arms. Bring them in. If you're going further, it's left under. And you've got your Utkatasana. Let's pause here at center. Think chair pose as we get lower now. Hover your eagle. Release the arms first. They can find your blocks. And then you let that leg go. And you find your warrior 3. And again, you can move around so that you feel nice and supported. There should be plenty of space between blocks and foot. All right, let's take that tap. Exhale, right knee bends and the left knee taps. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale to your warrior 3, Veer Bhadrasana C, staying with the blocks or getting lighter, hands at heart, or airplane wings, the arms go wide. Hands down, left foot takes a step back. Let's find your horse pose. So the left knee comes down, angle that shin to the right, open the right foot out, and the hands find your hips. So you should feel nice open hips. Take the basket behind your head, elbows fan wide, send your hips out, lift up and away. Back to center, the arms release, hands down. So the transition is to kick that left shin in so that you can sit behind it. And then that right foot comes kind of just in front of the knee or the opposite side. But if this right hip is really hiked up, I would straighten that bottom leg and you sit completely down. Sweep that right hand behind you, float the left one up. And as you exhale, wrap around and twist. All right, here we're going to build onto that twisted split boat pose. So the left hand glides down towards that foot so you can unwind it and bring it right out from the hip. You can stay here in your twist, or you work on extending the leg and floating the arm. And that left leg may eventually be able to float as well. If it was underneath you, you just kick it straight out. Land one foot at a time. Release your bind, face forward, and shake those legs out. Come all the way out. Let's wash it away with a vinyasa. Hands at the top of the mat. Step, step. Set up your plank, glide forward, and find your chaturanga. Lifting to your up dog. And hips high, downward face. Steady breath, steady gaze. Come to sit onto your backs and give yourself a well-deserved hug in. Or rock side to side. Let's end with a happy baby. Feet to the ceiling, draw those thighs down. You can continue your rocking. And then we'll transition into your resting pose, Shavasana. Arms by your side, legs go long. Do yourself a favor and take the time to rest. Reawaken with a deep breath. Move ankles and wrists, chin towards each shoulder. One final stretch of the arms back. Point the toes. And let's roll onto your right side. And then all the way up to sit. Thanks for hanging out today. I hope you feel better after that practice. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. That is the biggest thank you you can give. And I'll see you for next class. Bye.